Hi Tom, welcome to the studio.
Hello, Kevin.
It's a yearly ritual that we see each other, talking about the trends for the upcoming years to come. And this year, we prepared a little by email. You came up with two very interesting trends, Metaverse and non-fungible tokens. Maybe we can start with the Metaverse. Can you explain us what that is about?
I think most people will hear about Metaverse because of Zuckerberg on Facebook, because he said last summer that he wanted to go into the Metaverse, and that's why he even changed the name Facebook to Meta. Now, in his opinion, what is the Metaverse for him is the next step. We're now all time looking to a screen, and he wants to jump to a virtual world. He already has his glasses, and I think that he wants to sell those virtual glasses cheap, so we all can get it very fast, and that we can enter this virtual world that he assumes is going to be the future. Now, for me, that's interesting because that's a shift. And the Metaverse is a trend that I've been looking for the past, 15 years, something like that. I think it was 14 years ago or 15 years ago that I did research on Second Life.
Yeah, I was just
for
thinking.
Some of you,
I have a deja vu with Second Life there.
Yes, it was an incredible world where you can walk around, and actually the ideas of the Metaverse that he's now talking about is actually Second Life. But then the difference is that if you look back to Second Life, that was fun, but all the time it was crashing. All the time your avatar was like freezed in some kind of wall, and it was terrible that time. The technology was not able for it. And I don't know if the technology today is really there yet. But you see that the past years, companies like Epic Games, like Google, Microsoft, we're investing and doing a lot of research on the Metaverse. And now, of course, you all the time see this. If you look at the future, if you look from a trend perspective, most of the time, the future is already here. So the research is being done, the investments are being done, the creators are doing, but it grows very slowly and it's almost steady. But then you need like a growth of the amount of people. And that was happening, but not from commercial point of view, but from a crypto point of view. You see within the blockchain, you see the growth of enormous metaverses that were being created. So you see the growth of the amount of people are actually interested, fascinated by this. On the other hand, you see games like Fortnite, where young people were playing those games and were really into another world because they were their avatar. It was, by the way, something interesting in psychology. You're now, most of the time you have team calls and Zoom calls, and we're doing this as well, like a virtual call. But the audience or you as when you're working together, you get tired by watching a screen because you see the other, but you don't feel proximity.
But will that proximity, will that change? But because eventually you're in a virtual world, you have glasses on. Bill Gates said this weekend that he expects the office to be in the Metaverse in the future. So we won't go to the office anymore, but go to a virtual office where we meet each other. I can very hardly imagine that is the same than meeting people in real life.
When we go way more into technology, the meeting people in real life will be the new luxury. But if you go back to that same example of youngsters playing Fortnite, they see each other because they see each other's avatars. But for them, they go into the mind, into that avatar. So for them, they actually feel the proximity because they are that avatar. Now, this is just watching a screen and having an avatar there. So if you now already see that people can go inside that avatar and then feel the connection, imagine if you go into a virtual world with virtual glasses and or other technology. So you can enter that virtual world, and then you will definitely feel the proximity, and you will get less tired. And for me, really important, you will feel more connection with each other, because we're all connected today, but we don't have a lot of connection. And this will really gonna help us. And Kevin, in the past years, I almost never talked about technology. You know that. So I'm not the one that says technology going to help us all. But you see that past year and a half, past 2 years, working just on the screen, that doesn't make sense. It's really difficult. It's really difficult to find a group feeling, to find connection, to really be like togetherness. If you're friends, if you're family, if you're colleagues, it's really difficult. And then I understand what Bill Gates means, and for instance, Microsoft is doing really great work to change maybe the team setting to this virtual reality, so you can, wherever you are, you can connect with your colleagues and can really work together. But you're an avatar, of course. But for me, this is a very interesting phenomenon, because it's not something new. It's not something, we have something. It's not something like, Mark says something and now we have to jump on it. No, the moment he says something like that, that's maybe something that helps us to grow at the end, because it's not only his voice. Microsoft is doing incredible work in the blockchain world. There are so many metaverses being created today. It's enormous. It's very interesting to see how much research and development there is today. So we're gonna need to give it some time, definitely. But I truly believe that this idea of a metaverse will grow, and a metaverse, in my opinion, is not just a virtual world, because virtual world, we always think about those glasses. But virtual glasses are just one tool. If you talk about internet, you don't talk about iPhone. You can enter internet with other. You can enter internet with a computer, like or with your watch or something like that. So we'll see what kind of tools are getting important in the future. But it is a multiverse. It's we talk about metaverse, but it's actually a virtual multiverse. There are a lot of virtual worlds out there. And I hope that not one company will rule them. I hope that it will be fully decentralized, and that Facebook is going to be one world within the metaverse, and maybe Teams is going to be one world. But your event is also going to be one world.
Yeah, but because that's where I wanted to go. Suppose we're at the phase that people actually go in a virtual world to the office. Then the step of doing virtual conferences and things like that is very small. Why should we need to fly to Spain, for example, to have a conference there, if we can all go virtually, see the speakers on stage there, and have the same proximity feeling? Okay, I know there are some other disadvantages. You don't have the chats in between and so on, but that step will be very, very small. And maybe there will be a time that we will be organizing events in those metaverses.
There are already a lot of events now happening into those metaverses. I just did an entire lecture in a metaverse, and I followed an art exposition in a metaverse last week. So there's a lot of things happening. I think metaverse is going to be a place where we indeed work, or where we gather, but where we also find entertainment, and where we consume, and where we consume for our virtual world, but where we also consume for a real world. So you can go to a conference and maybe buy a book of a speaker there, and you will get it immediately virtually. But maybe you can choose to also get delivered to your home in real life. So why not go to a virtual world of H&M and then buy yourself some clothes for your virtual character? So you can walk around at your next conference, Kevin, with those clothes on as a virtual character. But maybe you really like that t-shirt and you just also buy it for your real life. So we've been talking in the past 5 years, maybe longer, about digital world where physical and digital comes together. I think Metaverse might be also an evolution about this, where you can work together online, where you can meet each other online. Because you said that there is no chat, there will be chats, definitely, because you are in that world. And if the speaker or the when the entertainer, the concert stops, you're still there, and that world won't stop. It's not like a game where you log out and that the game just freeze until you just enter again. No, the world will keep on evolving. So if you have an event planner event and I will enter it and after 30 minutes I go to another world, and 2 hours later I come back, people are still there, people are still discussing. If you look at internet and an evolution of the internet and mobile internet, for me, Metaverse is just the next step. Is it the future? It's a future. It's a future evolution, and there's going to be a lot of conferences, events, entertainment, shops, education within those different metaverses, different worlds. But it doesn't mean that it's going to be the only one. I think if you're going to create your real life events, is going to be very valuable. And if Metaverses is going to be the biggest trend, your in real life event is going to be just luxurious. But for me, what's really important for the event industry, but of course not only for the event industry, is that you find people who are actually fascinated by this and are going to try stuff out. Same thing when you look at e-commerce in 2008. I was talking about e-commerce and I was like, oh no, it's not interesting. But if you that time started playing, experimenting, it's all about having a future mindset, not just reading like, okay, the market is saying this, we'll never do this. Well, it might be possible that we're going to do this. And actually, it's now already happening. People are playing games in the metaverse. People are going to concerts in the metaverse. I do lectures in the metaverse. There are so many opportunities there. And it's just starting out. So if you like, it's now a hype because of Mark, because of Facebook. But the hype will go over, definitely. But the research, the money going into these metaverses, please follow it, understand it, and have fun, experiment. Why not have your next management meeting within a metaverse? Why not have your next client conversation in the metaverse to just see what kind of impulses you receive and what the possibilities are.
Sorry for interrupting your view of this very interesting episode with Tom. It was so interesting that it took over 45 minutes, and we decided in the editing room to cut it up in 2 different episodes. That's why we will end up the first episode here, and next week we will show you the rest of the interview on NFTs.